So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can sync it up first. So here's your Bluetooth devices. Okay, so we have okay, so the way I'm going to do it is from a control panel. So I'm going to go to the control panel, and I'm going to go to devices and printers, and I'm going to add a device. Okay. So if it is syncing up, it should be able to find it. So here's looking for an unknown and unknown. So it's detecting some other devices. And it might be trying to detect some of the cell phones too, so we'll wait for it and see. Sometimes this is the tricky part, getting it to sync up. It might take a little while. So what you want to do is get the computer close to it. So if it is not finding it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this here. So this is closer to it. And let's try it again. There we go, see? That's the message right there. So what I did was switch it over to this side so it's closer to the amplifier. So I'm going to double click on it. And it's going to ask me for a password. Okay? The password is the last 4 digits that you see there. It's always going to be the last 4 digits. So you don't have to write it down or remember it, right? And so it's going to be 0192. And it's supposed to be syncing up. All right, so it's supposed to be installed. So we'll test it. So right now I'm going to go to BioTrace, which is down here. That's the icon for it. And I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to open up BioTrace, which is the software. One of the things that I like about the Nexus is that the software updates are free. They send you an email, they update it every now and then. As they send you an email, you go to the website. So first thing you want to do always before you start doing any type of recording, biofeedback or neurofeedback, is do a signal check. And you want to make sure you don't have a contaminated signal. So we can go here to the signal library. And we go multimodal because we're doing multimodality, we're doing several signals, right? And we can do that. Okay, so it's showing me the EEG, the ENG, a few things, the temperature. This is the heart rate and the respiration, right? So we're going to do a signal testing. That's not the screen we're going to use for the test, but that's the signal testing. So I'm going to go record, and we don't have him added there, right? So you see a list of clients here. Now, they're showing their names. So what I can do is I go open, I hit the O key on the keyboard, and that's going to open that. All right, and if I hit that here, it's gonna show client confidentiality. So if you want to hide the names, you check on it. If you don't want to hide the names, you don't check on it. So that's a neat feature that it has, right? I'm gonna say okay. I'm gonna open something. All right, and that's it. Now, record. There we go. So the confidentiality. So Willie is not added there. we need to add him first. And we'll go to add new, right? And I'm just gonna add your last name as Willie because you're the only Willie here. I'm gonna spell it like that just for purposes. We can add the birthday. We can add, if you want to add an client ID, it could be your Taiwanese ID. It could be the last 4 digits. It could be one that you make up. You know, I don't normally use that really because the reports are for the clients, and unless you're doing research and you want to be more diligent about it, then it's important. You can put what grade you're in, the gender, and the information. Okay? And you can add here the information about your company. You can put a logo here as well. But we're going to keep it simple. And we're going to look for Willie, which is here. And we're going to hit continue. Now, before I hit start recording, I have to make sure this all renders fully green, which is the case. But I have to make sure my amplifier is turned on. If it is not turned on, it's not going to record anything. Okay? So it is turned on. I have to make sure, because what this amplifier does is to save battery. It shuts down after a while on its own. So it's turned on. And I just want you to sit there, Willie, for a second. I'm going to do a signal check. So I hit start recording, and it starts recording. So remember I told you about the EMG? That's the heartbeat right there. And we can minimize that. That's not a problem, but that's the heartbeat. So signal is looking good. I want you to shrug your shoulders for a second and keep it just a little bit. See, if you get a signal like that, you have to check for noise. So relax again, please. And that's him shrugging the shoulders. Okay. We have to make sure that the conductance is good. Go ahead and move your hand a little bit and see how it changes up there. Keep it moving, please. See, so notice how it is. So what did it do here? Here. So he's shaking his hand. See how it's affecting the heart rate and the temperature. Keep relax, please. Okay. So we have to make sure there's no noise. Look at the VVP. Shake your hand again, please. See that? That's noise. Or if he's not from his planet, that's his heartbeat. So we have to make sure that's not noise. Okay, relax. All right, so we're ready to start with the recording. So we'll do the stress profile, right? So the stress profile, remember, is 5 phases. And you can do it different ways. Since Willie is not looking at the screen, I normally have the client facing the screen, but I have their eyes closed. And the reason I want their eyes closed is because I don't want them to try to manipulate it. Or if you had a hyperactive child who's very curious, they're going to start saying, what is that? And what is that? And what is that? And there's a move in their hand and you don't get anything done. So eyes closed minimizes the anxiety too, because the person is coming, you're hooking up, cables, and in the case of Willie, everybody's looking at him and you're filming and stuff. That creates anxiety. So you hook them up, you do the hookup, you allow for 5 minutes for them to come down. 5-10 minutes, signals will work. In this case, we're just going to do it like that because it's good science for us. And so, are you ready to begin?
Yeah.
You can keep your eyes open, you can close your eyes, whichever you feel more comfortable with. Okay. So, the first one, you're going to be quietly there, sitting there quietly. Try not to move, as still as you can. Okay. And then I'm going to ask you a few questions. I'm going to tell you when you can talk to me, and then I'm going to ask you to stop, and then we'll go from there. Okay.
Okay.
You have any questions?
No.
Okay. You ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to look for a screen. I have 2 options. I can do it from the home menu, and it has an assessment library, which is already pre-built for that, and a stress test, right? So there's a protocol for 6 minutes, there's 15 minutes, there's one for the workshops, and there's the stress test. I'm going to use that one because I can go as long as I wish. All right. The other ones are predetermined, and those are for more specific things. If you want to do a 6-minute stress profile, you can use that screen. If you want to do the 15-minute, you can use that screen. Now, what I'm showing you here is the basic one, which means it's the basic screen, and you can modify it anytime you want. You don't have to go with this stress profile forever. Because the way I do it, it works for me, but people like to change it. They add more time, they take time away, they make it longer, they make it shorter, they add more stressors, they add different stressors. You can do it. Okay? It's very flexible. Okay? As long as you're getting the job done, it's very flexible. So, with that in mind, we're going to do our baseline. So, Willie, please sit there as quietly as you can, and relax as much as you can. And we're gonna start recording right now. So at the bottom is your time. That's your timer right there. A lot of people make this mistake. You have to be mindful of the time, because sometimes people are so mesmerized by what's going on here. 4 minutes later, they forget to start doing the test, because they go, "Oh, look at those lines! It's so pretty, and look at that, and look at that," and it's we have to start again. Okay, so you have to be mindful of the time. So we're just showing this is your blood volume pressure. This is the pacer. This is for training. So this one we're not going to take a look at. The blue line here is the respiration. The red line is the heart rate. This orange line is his temperature. This yellowish line is his skin conductance, and this is the EMG. Blue is for the shoulders, green for the neck, and you have the digital values displayed on the right. Okay, well, it seems fairly relaxed for now, and we got 1 minute going on. When I do the first stressor, I'm going to pause it because I want to explain it to him. Okay, as you get more experience, you can do it on the fly. You can do it on the go. But I'm going to pause and then keep going to show you what it is. And the first stress is called the serial 7. Serial 7, okay? And I will show you why. So here's we have 72 Fahrenheit. You can change this to Celsius. 666 microsiemens, about 3-4 microvolts for the EMG, 72 beats per minute on average. Alright, so we're approaching the time. You gotta remember, we gotta be mindful of the time. So as we hit the 2 minute mark, and we're gonna pause. Okay, so Willie, we're gonna do math test now. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a number. I am going to subtract by 7s from that number. You have to do it out loud so we can all hear you, and you can do it. You have to do it as fast as you can. All right. So, for instance, the number is 37 minus 7.
44.
Minus.
Oh, minus, sorry.
Yeah.
30.
Minus 7.
23.
Minus 7.
16.
Right. So that's what I'm going to give you a number, and you have to subtract by 7s. Keep going until I tell you to stop. Okay. Do not stop unless I tell you so. Okay. All right. You ready?
Yeah.
The number is 1081.
1074.
Keep going.
1067. 1060. 1053. 1046. 1039.
Faster.
1032. 1025. 1018, 1011, 1004, 997, 990, 983, 983, so 76.
Keep going. Faster.
900 and what? 69, 962.
Yeah, faster.
955, 984, 942, 935, 928, 921, 914, 907, 908. 193, 886,
Faster, please.
879, 872,
Faster.
865, 858, 852, 845, 845.
Faster.
38, 832.
So as for minutes, please stop.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want you to stay quiet and relax as much as you can. So we ended the stress one, we're going to the recovery one for 2 minutes, okay? And as he's doing it, you can record the changes you start noticing. Yes. And then I go like that until the 6-minute mark. So remember, we look at this and we're looking at the changes, but we have to be mindful of the time, okay? Just remember that for your practical so you don't go over time. So on this one I'm not going to post it because I'm going to give you an instruction right away. Alright, Willie, please tell us about your something that stresses you out. What stresses you out about your daily life that you can share with us that you want to talk about?
Daily life?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing?
Okay. Writing my assessment report.
Okay, writing an assessment report stresses you out?
Yeah.
And what specifically about that stresses you out?
Yeah, because it has to organize all the information about what the patient talk and about what their score or I have to concept and organize and know what's wrong with them and writing the report.
So you would say that out of your obligations at work, that's your least favorite part? That's something you don't really like doing, writing the report?
Yeah.
So it's very boring and stressful and annoying to you?
Yes.
Okay. And when you have to do it, how does it manifest in your mind? What do you start thinking when you know you have to do reports? What comes to your mind?
It's what do I think?
Yeah.
What I think, is it may take a lot of time and maybe when I write I forgot to ask the patient some question and I have to figure out what's wrong.
Okay. So it annoys you.
Yes.
And does it make you feel anything physically? Does it manifest physically when you're stressed out when you do that?
Physically is not much physically.
Okay, but mentally is.
Yeah,
You
mentally.
It frustrates you mentally.
Yes.
Just to think about it. All right. Go ahead and just sit there, be quiet please, and relax as much as you can. We hit the 8-minute mark and we go into the recovery phase. And if you notice, he's being really good about not moving the hand, so you have to be reminding the client if they move the hand to, when they talk, to just sit still. Because a lot of people express their emotions throughout movement of the hand, so you have to do that so we can minimize it. Now notice when I asked something how he reacted, which is why I thought. So as you can see, you can see the reaction on the analog side of things, and then the digital values that help you understand. So when there's an increase in the muscle tension, you can see how much it increases here. And for the interpretation, I'm going to give you some universal standard numbers that you can use for comparison values. but it gives you an idea and it gives you the sense of how it's working, and you've noticed the changes. I've seen you reacting to the changes on the signals as he gets stressed out or as he relaxes. So it's we're close to the 10-minute mark, but it's providing us with really useful information. And so we're going to see what, when we do the interpretation after lunch, we're going to see what signals we need to train and how we go about it. Very good. Very good. You can change the settings here, so if the signal goes up and down or disappears, you can do an auto adjust, so it keeps adjusting it. And you know, you can edit the screens, change the colors, even like colors, so you can customize it to your own liking too, which is one of the advantages. Okay, so we're at the 10-minute mark, and we are going to stop it. And I'm going to go yes, because I want to record it. If I hit no, then I'm in trouble. Alright? So I hit yes, and a window is going to pop up. Yep. And stress profile. You don't need to put the name because every client has a separate folder. Now, what I do recommend is that you do a backup of the information daily. So every day, do a backup to an external hard drive or the cloud or something. Because if you lose that, you're going to be in a lot of trouble, a lot of stress, okay? So I just save a stress profile and I hit OK. Now, I'm going to hit the tab key on the keyboard, and that's what we have. Now, we don't know which one is which, right? So we can, I can do markers to label the events. So this one, I'm going to do event marker. So I'm going to go to the 2-minute mark, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to go event marker, I'm going to go add marker, and I'm going to label that one baseline, right? Because that's my baseline, from 0 to 2 minutes. And yeah, you want to watch it?
Yeah.
And stand up for a second, please. And you can sit here.
Okay.
Thank you. And actually, we're gonna put on the tables we have. Thanks. Okay. Now I go to the 4-minute mark, right? And I do the same thing. Event marker, add a marker, and I go stress 1, and that's my serial 7. So serial 7. Now you don't have to do the serial 7, but he's really good at math. So he was navigating through it. So I had to put extra pressure on him by saying faster, faster, and then he started reacting. Most people, and I don't want to be rude with stereotype, but stereotypes, you guys are good with math, so that's probably why. But I've done this with a lot of people, and there's people who cannot go past the first number. They freeze. And they just freeze. You just let them freeze and let them process the stress, because it's going to give you information. Don't push them, because that's kind of harsh on the client. But if they freeze, just tell them to do their best, try to help them out. But there's people who are not going to be able to go past the first number. When they make mistakes on the sequence, make them start again. So if they go 1081, 1077, no, start again. And be a little harsh about it. So, you know, stress them out, because you need the data to be real, okay? But it doesn't have to be the serial 7, it could be something else. At the 6th mark, I'm going to do the same thing. And I'm going to go recovery 1. Now for the stress 2, we're going to go stress 2, and we're going to label that assessment reports or reports. Because I need to know what the client taught me. So that when we are addressing that, we can remember later. And then at the 10-minute mark, we're going to do the same thing. Event marker, add marker, and we're going to go recovery 2. And we have that labeled, okay? So I'm going to show you how we can look at the data. We'll break for lunch, we'll do the analysis, and we'll jump into the practical. So you can do 2 things. You can step on the middle of the screen, do right click, and go even compute statistics, and you go on entire session. So it's going to show you the mean values for the whole test. All right? And we go, and here are the values, the mean values. Okay? Now, we're not going to look at those now, but the other thing you can do is you can locate your cursor here, left click and hold it, drag it so it becomes darker, and when you get to the section, you let go. And you go segment compute statistics. And it shows you the statistics for that particular segment. Okay? So we're going to do the interpretation when we're done. We're going to break for lunch now. I'm going to disconnect them, and then we'll do the practice. Okay? Questions so far? Everything good? All right. So, great. So let's do lunch. Oh, let me show you something here. If you get closer, please. So you do this when you finish with your assessment. Bring your head down here. So if you want to take off the sensors, right? Some people you could peel it off and don't care about it. But in case there's hair or people have very sensitive skin, what you can do is you lift it and then you start gently abrading with the alcohol. And that makes it a lot more comfortable. See that? So you start doing a sweep. That's good. Right. And then you do the same thing here. How's that doing? Okay. So for women or people who are really hairy in the back, and then what you want to do is put these guys together. We can. Oh, is it okay we throw them away?
Yeah.
Okay. Because these are disposable. Okay. Flip it and throw it away. Okay. There it goes. All right. And the same thing with the shoulders, and we're good to go. So something here. Did it hurt? So usually the shoulders, because there's not a lot of hair, their skin is not that sensitive. I can peel it off really easily. Same thing. And I throw it away. And these I put here so it hangs on the shoulder, so it's not getting tangled anywhere. Not getting uncomfortable. Okay, so you can go ahead and do that. And give me the hands, please. You can take those off if you want to yourself. Sometimes the client won't want to take it off. We let them do it, okay? Yep. Hands together. Good. So, and you want to take the other ones off yourself? You're more than welcome to do that. The only thing that you do is you, after you take them off, take them out of the amplifier, put them on the telly, or hang them by the back of the chair. Go ahead and take everything off. You can take that off. And go ahead and take the other one off as well. The same thing. You gently pull from it. And it comes out without forcing. Make sure you don't bend them too much again. I'm going to put this for a second here. And now, a lot of people forget the Velcro for the respiration. And then they get up and they take the amplifier with them. So make sure that the Velcro, you take it off too. So go ahead and take the Velcro off, and then don't stand up. Do it from a sitting position. Take it up first. And the person's free to stand up. And, oh, sorry, let me. Thank you, Willie. All right. Good. Let's do lunch and we'll continue. Thanks for the stamina.